Nice call.
Come.
I want the coffee, so when that's ready, please give it to me.
All I see knickers.
I heard I can see your knickers, and I was like, what?
When he said it, it sounded to me like he was saying...
I say the word knickers the same way as you do.
Guys, stop. You guys are really leaning into the...
Don't put your knickers in a twist. That's pretty impressive, honestly.
I liked the Midwest. It was pretty chill.
Where have you been in the Midwest?
I really like Minnesota.
Minnesota, really?
It's probably my favorite state I've been to in the US.
I got deported from there. Thanks, Minnesota.
Well, I don't know about you. I had a very warm welcome in Minnesota.
Oh, I did not.
I was not deported.
God, I was not me.
Connor they bring out the red carpet. They're like, yes, sir, C-Dog VA.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's like,
your passport? No, we don't need to check that. Go right in.
Oh, Mr. Anime Man, welcome to Minnesota. Get the fuck out.
You said they were really nice though when they were deporting you though?
No, they were nice because they weren't nice about it, at least. They were like, hey, it's not your fault, man. It happens all the time kind of thing. But you also have to fly immediately to Amsterdam and then from Amsterdam back to Tokyo.
Are you allowed to say why you got deported? Is that like something you're allowed to talk about?
Just visa mix-ups, basically. I mean, like, you know.
got the wrong visa, right?
Yeah, basically, I had the wrong visa. Apparently, I asked the immigration officer in Minnesota. He was like, yeah, this happens all the fucking time.
God.
So it's like, you are definitely not in the wrong for not knowing this shit. Like, it is really confusing. But he's like, just go home, get this particular visa, and then you'll be good for like the next 10 years at least. I'm like,
sounds
okay.
really cool saying you got deported.
Yeah.
Sounds like you like
until you get deported.
Yeah. I'm sure getting deported wasn't cool. You know?
No. Getting deported wasn't cool, but the fact that I literally flew around the world in 48 hours.
Yeah.
You just did a fucking speed run.
I did basically speed ran like around the world.
Yeah, what the fuck took them 80 days the first time? You know what I mean? Like, until you did it in 2.
Just get deported, bro. So I used the
around the world deportation hack.
I used the deported skip right here.
The first time I went to the US.
Fair. Yeah, how was your perception of England going back?
I wrote notes.
You wrote notes.
You wrote notes.
You wrote notes. Oh, this is why you wanted.
Chris told me to write notes. My phone is on 1%.
You better read them all.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read through them all, then we can talk about it.
Okay.
Very, very dirty. London.
Yes.
London is really loud. I didn't realize how noisy it was before.
Okay.
It feels like the same amount of people are walking around Tokyo, but in London it's less orderly.
Yep.
Okay.
Lots more homeless. People making gestures or saying something to you whenever you do anything. Like when this guy just started talking to me in the lift, and I was really confused. And I just forgot that was like a thing that is like, he started just talking to me. And I was like, I'd literally just checked into my hotel. I'd just gotten off the flight. I was like,
what did he say to you?
He was just like, he was talking about like,
Did you say hi?
He was like, oh, how you doing? I'm like, me?
Watashi?
Like,
It's so funny you say that because I literally got recommended a video like yesterday of this satire like news report that's just like Northerner terrorizes Londoners by saying hello.
that's true.
Literally what happened.
Oh yeah. People, okay, when they bump into you, right, in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And I've totally forgot this was a thing.
Yeah.
This is the longest cable on earth, man. When people bump into you in Japan, they say sorry.
Yeah.
So many people bumped into me and were just dickheads and didn't say sorry.
Didn't say anything.
I could not, every time that happened to me, I could not stop saying sumimasen. It was just like muscle memory. Even if I hadn't bumped into someone, I was like on the tube, right? And I was like, sumimasen. I was like, I'm not in Japan anymore. I need to stop doing this because no one else is saying this shit. But like, I just couldn't stop saying it subconsciously.
I had one thing that...
Because if I'm in sweatpants, I feel like I should be in my bedroom or on the couch.
No, I get that.
Watching TV.
Like one thing
I
do in the morning to like get me into like the work mode if I'm at home all day is that I don't wear like my pajama shirt. I like change to a different shirt.
Pajama shirt? You have a pajama shirt?
Yeah, just like old shirts that I don't.
You wear shirts to bed? Why do you do that?
I wear shirts to bed.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
Why do people do this?
Because I don't want to be naked.
Because it just feels.
I wear boxes, just boxes.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It feels like unless I'm in a sleeping bag, I don't have enough cover over me.
Yeah, I feel really bare.
Yeah.
And unprotected.
Like boxes.
No,
boxes.
I love using the body parts as temperature control. So I put some out, put some in. You know, depending on how cold or hot I need to be.
Okay, but do you wear boxers to bed?
Yeah, sometimes naked, sometimes boxes. It kinda
See,
depends.
like I need to wear boxers to bed. Sleeping like completely naked just feels weird.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
You
a
know?
getting used to thing, because the nutsack is a very delicate thing to kind of like. You laugh, but
No,
that's
no,
the
I'm
main,
laughing because
that's the
I
main
agree.
problem. It's
I
'cause
agree.
your nuts go everywhere, and sometimes they're more elastic than other times. So it's
What?
Sometimes you just don't want your nutsack rubbing against your leg, Like, I don't know. Like, for me,
Well, are
skin on...
your nuts so huge that they're like a fucking sack of potatoes? Like, oh fuck, it's
No,
going
it's
to
like,
work.
okay,
I've
when you-
forklift them out of the way.
when I'm not wearing a shirt to sleep, it just feels weird to feel my own skin on my skin.
No, I get that.
Like
Yeah, I
and
get that.
it's
I get
exactly
that.
the same
Like
thing.
the only time I will.
Fuck, you've been like brainwashed.
The,
You're
the
like,
only
"My
time
skin
the
feels
only
icky."
time where I will go to bed without a shirt on is if it's like excruciatingly hot to the point
Yeah.
where like even the AC on blast isn't going to do it for me.
Yeah.
What?
Like
But
to me,
that's-
like
but
to
that's
me,
not-
like I need some fabric on me to
Yeah.
stop
To
myself
embrace.
from
Yeah, the
touching
bed
myself.
sheets.
No, it's
No,
it's an embrace.
It's,
You're like lightly embraced by the shirt. It's like
it's like
go to
it's like an
sleep.
extra layer of skin that you're not. That sounded really like
Epidermis
serial-
2.0
serial
right
killer.
here.
Yeah, right.
I feel like you're just like giving me a very shit reason as to why you wear a shirt to bed.
It's comfortable. End of story.
I don't understand why you would feel uncomfortable without a shirt
Okay,
on.
and another thing, sometimes if I'm not wearing a shirt, my body gets even hotter, right? Because you have like a natural body temperature, and if it's like skin on skin, sometimes it's like a loop system where it like warms itself up a bit more. I don't know if that's just me.
I think that's bullshit. I think you've got insulation. With
It's like an
your shirt.
eddy current of heat.
Surely the shirt keeps in the skin the heat more. No.
No, I mean like insulation works both ways, right? Like if you put a jacket on a snowman, right? It insulates the heat in. It insulates like the coldness in.
They actually say to preserve body heat, like in like super cold temperatures when you sleep, it's actually better to sleep naked than to wear something.
Why
Which,
wouldn't
like,
you
works the
wanna- I
opposite.
just think that you're meant to sleep naked. I just thought that was what you're supposed to do.
Where'd you get this idea from?
Fucking
Isn't that
caveman.
how God intended? Like,
Oh,
don't
God
know.
sleeps naked.
Why
Clearly.
wear clothes then?
it just seems like a lot more effort to be wearing clothes to bed. Like, why are you complicating it? You're just,
Effort?
yeah, just go naked. It's
How
fine.
hard is it to put a shirt on for you?
I just think, why are you adding shirts into an equation that doesn't need it?
Why need blankets?
So then, okay, question then.
Yeah, why need
All right,
blankets?
Okay, question then, right?
Why not just sleep on a
No,
slab
I
of
have a
rock?
serious question.
Okay.
So
Okay.
then, when you start doing the business, do
Yeah.
you just throw the shirt off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that just seems like a lot of work. I'm always ready.
It's 2 seconds. It's just whoop, you're done.
When you jack off, do you wear a shirt?
Depends where I am.
It's never really a part of the equation of jacking off. I'm just
Yeah.
like, do I have my shirt on? Why?
I
Do you-
feel like I'm like the Michelin man when I'm jacking off wearing a shirt. I feel like I'm like constricted. I'm like, fucking hell, like get the shirt off me.
What do you fucking?
It's
do you fucking bulk up when you?
have you never done the business with a shirt on?
I have. I don't like it. It feels like I'm in some kind of like constriction. I don't like it at all.
You don't like it?
No, it feels dreadful.
I don't mind it.
No.
Sometimes
no.
you need to like, sometimes it's nice.
There's a
to
reason
just-
why in porn they don't take they take the shirt off. It's because you want to get like.
Well, that's because they're on fucking camera, mate.
Yeah, but
Are you on camera?
I might be. Don't know what I'm into.
I don't know who I'm fucking.
Next sponsor. But it's like when you're pooping sometimes you have to take your shirt off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
get that.
that's more of just like
It's the same kind of energy.
Well, that's the thing. It's
Well, no,
like
no,
if it gets
because-
intense, I'll take the shirt.
not every poop needs to take you need to take a shirt
I
off.
prefer, if possible,
Speak for yourself.
when you wake up, when you wake up, right, and you have the first poop, do you take the shirt off when you do it, or you just right to it?
No, I keep it
No,
on.
the shirt taking off poops are for the poops that like fight back.
Yeah.
It's when like you need to like
Yeah.
like you need that extra push and the next.
Those are the poops that are like, no, I'm staying here.
I
the ones in the
generally-
morning are kind of just like, all right, it was a good night.
Generally prefer to just take it off when I poop anyway.
Why?
Not like during the day if I'm like out in like a
Why?
in like a public restroom, like, time to undress.
Connor goes for a poop and just like he like takes off like the JoJo suit,
And I'd
puts it over,
and I'd
takes
still,
off the tie, takes off the shirt.
and I'd still poop faster than Garnt.
I don't know. It's just like a placebo, right? It's like I just feel more comfortable wearing a shirt to bed. I don't know what it is.
I think you've nerfed yourself.
In what way have we nerfed ourselves?
How?
I feel like
you
you've
mean
nerfed yourself.
No, because I can poop without any requirements.
You know what it also is
It,
as well?
it doesn't
sleep.
sound like that because it sounds
He's-
like
okay, he's
your
a-
requirement is that you need to take a shirt off, and that you need to
I
have
just
nothing
prefer
on.
it. I just prefer
That's literally a requirement. I can sleep naked. I just prefer to have a shirt
What if you're
on.
stranded without a shirt?
Then I'll sleep with my shirt off.
Here's a
You'll
reason
be
as well, though.
complaining the whole time.
Here's
But I
a
will be-
reason. Here's a
yeah.
reason as well, though, because like I've actually experienced this where like in the middle of the night, we're in Japan, right? Earthquakes, right? They happen all the fucking time, right? If there's a massive earthquake in the middle of the night, I don't want to be that weirdo running out of my house butt fucking naked.
You have time. You have time to grab the clothes.
Well, then why don't you just wear the shirt at that point then?
I'm not
if
fuck-
you have the
I'm
time
not
to
fuck-
wear a shirt
I'm not-
escaping from an earthquake,
I'm not
why
Jason
not just
Bourne,
sleep
bro.
with it?
I'm not Jason Bourne. I don't need to be fucking ready for combat situations every fucking night. I haven't got a drawer full of passports ready to go in case I need to be deported. You know, this t-shirt is on the floor. This 1 extra second of putting on the t-shirt, which I can do on the way to the elevator or some shit. You know, I don't need to.
On the way to an elevator in an earthquake.
Bro, I'm not walking downstairs.
I just have this like mental image of just like if an earthquake happens when Connor's either sleeping or on the toilet, it's just gonna be that scene from Borat all over again. Where Connor just like emerges, like just butt naked.
Completely butt naked.
If I'm shitting in the middle of an earthquake, I'm taking my chances. I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing. I'm not
In the toilets in Japan versus the toilets in the UK,
Yeah.
right? I mean, as you mentioned last week, the first thing you noticed is things are a lot dirtier in the UK. Well, after you've been living in Japan for like this long, right?
Yeah. Okay, I remembered another story from toilets.
No, go for it.
Sorry, I went to this toilet in Covent Garden.
Yeah.
So I went to a coffee shop, right? Coffee shop was too small. Didn't have their own toilet.
Yeah.
So they used a toilet in Covent Garden that was connected to the church.
Okay.
And it was 30 pence to enter. So about 50 cents maybe.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's right. You guys charge for toilets.
oh god, this toilet was like entering some sewer level in a video game going down these stairs. So
Oh,
it was in the stairs
no.
down. You had to go on the street level. You had to go down this really old looking 1800s architecture. So you get to this kind of cove looking thing. It's this archway, right? And again, it looks like from something out of the 1800s that was never replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Great architecture. Woo.
Yeah.
But then there's this turnstile, and it is the most disgusting color of orange green wall that you've ever seen, and the lights are flickering. And yeah.
Sounds like you're about to enter a Dark Souls level.
And I'm near certain I'm the only person on earth who actually paid to get in.
Yeah.
Because the moment I got
Just
in,
jumped the
the
turnstile.
moment
Yeah.
I got in, 2 guys just jumped after me.
Yeah.
So I go in here, right? And only one of the stalls is open.
Uh-huh.
So I go in there and I need to do my business. Now, unfortunately, there was only like 2 sheets of toilet roll left. So it was already a bad time.
Hard mode
Bad
activate.
time. And there was no bidet, obviously.
Tragedy.
So my
Okay.
ass never quite felt clean.
Yeah.
So I was also struggling with that every single day.
Yeah.
I definitely felt my ass was not clean. They're genuine. You joke, but I walked
No, I
around
get
many
you.
days
I get
thinking
you.
like, holy shit, I need to bring a portable bidet.
Yeah.
So I'm in this thing, right? I'm hearing noises from the 2 stalls. And I'm like, that's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And then this guy drops a can that kind of ominously rolls into my stall.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a can of Guinness. And I kind of like kick it back. And I'm like, here you go. And he's like, cheers. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, it's a nice day today, isn't it? And I'm like, you talking to me? Like, well, I'm in the middle of this shit. Like, me? He's like, who else would I be talking to? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what? And I'm just confused. I'm like, yeah, it's nice. So I go out, and these 2 guys come out. One of them's homeless, and one of them just looks like, I don't know who this guy is. He doesn't look homeless.
Yeah.
But one of the other guys is clearly homeless because his stall had his like sleeping bag in it.
Oh, Jesus
And I
Christ.
was like, what on earth is going on? And the guy was like, you didn't actually pay for it, did you? And I was like, yeah, I did. And he was like, oh, you're a fucking dickhead. And then washed his hands and left. And then the other guy just stared at me. And I was like, this is the most uncomfortable toilet experience I've had. I was like, a peep show. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to go through. And I just worked the turnstile, which you have to press like some kind of emergency meeting button S to get out.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
The kicking back the Guinness can just sounds like an event in a game.
It was
It's
weird.
like, this is how you activate the store. It's like, what are you buying?
I heard something drop, and then it had that really ominous noise of rolling.
Yeah,
and it came over, and I was like, kicking it, like, take it back. I don't fucking want your Guinness.
It's a side quest in Yakuza.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a Yakuza side quest.
I was just like, what is this? I just wanted to take a shit.
Jesus.
I mean, if there's one place I don't want to have a conversation, it's on the fucking shitter, right?
Yeah.
Especially
Like,
not
like way too seasick to be able to function for most of the trip.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is which is the thing where Meilyne also was seasick, and so was I, to be fair. But Meilyne, being Meilyne, didn't want to admit it because she was like really silent after about an hour, and she was just sitting down. And I was like, Meilyne, you're right, and she was like, yep, I'm cool. I'm just a little bit tired. She told me afterwards that she just didn't want to admit she was seasick in case like me or Cindy would be like, oh little baby, oh little
get medicine for seasickness.
yeah, you
right?
can,
Well,
you can.
well,
Which we totally would
the
have done
pride,
anyway.
man.
But
It's the pride.
But as soon as Maki mentioned that he was feeling seasick, she turns to me and Sydney was like, "Maki's seasick. She's seasick. I'm taking care of Maki. He's seasick."
Wow,
I'm like, "Wow, Meilyne."
What an asshole.
bro.
That's a bro moment.
And I was just like, "I'm seasick as well. You know, obviously, I'm not. You know, it's normal to get seasick." which
Marky's
it
just
is.
doing like the blinking, like,
Yo, what?
hey, yo, what?
But it was so funny because Maki did my sort of
Socialise,
drink.
yeah, it's like socialise in the UK.
Do you drink with your parents?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your parents are drinkers as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we go
my
out.
parents don't drink, but since we haven't,
you
seen
drank
this-
anyway.
No, but since we haven't drunk in 2 years,
Yeah.
they brought open a bottle of wine and they had a
Oh.
glass. I was just like, oh shit, okay,
Oh, it's special.
This is a special occasion. Like I think I've seen my mum drunk before this once in my life, and it was for like my cousin's wedding. And it was just the weirdest fucking thing, right? Because my mum is like. As far as my perception is, like the biggest straight edge there is, right?
Right.
She doesn't drink, she, doesn't smoke, doesn't do anything like that. I had never ever seen her like in my life. I think I've seen her like take a sip of alcohol about like I think 5 times in my life total. And then I remember going to my cousin's wedding, and my entire family were there. Everyone had like flown in from Thailand, so it was a rare occurrence that we have a massive family gathered in one place. And it was the first time I'd seen like a different side of my mum. Like I had no
Party
idea.
animal.
I had no idea that there was just this monster laying within, right? and it felt like almost like she got more drunk than Sydney on the day. Or she got
damn.
drunk faster than Sydney. And that gives you an indication of like how surprised I was, right? And I remember like halfway through the wedding, I come sit down, and my mum and dad are just sitting on this table. My mum has a glass of wine in front of us, and I don't know how much she had drunk at this point, and she was like, "Gig," or my Thai name's Gig. It's like, "Gig, do you want to see me down this glass of wine?" I was like, "No, mum, I don't want to see you down that glass of wine, mum, no." She was like, "I'll do it. I'll do it." I was like, "Mom, no, don't do it." And she just and I was like, "Mom, what are you, 15? What are you, 18?
That's so funny.
Meanwhile, there's like 6 bottles of wine below her feet. It's like,
And
I
then
got
like
it.
Sydney was on the dance floor. Like this was like 10, 11 p.m. Sydney was on the dance floor, just like, she was Sydney was like pretty not sober, but she was like merry. She wasn't completely drunk. And then my mum just comes up to her, takes the bottle of beer that she's drinking, just downs it in front of her and takes it and gives it back to her. I've never seen
Bro.
Sydney so dumbfounded in my life.
What a giga chat.
Damn.
There was also like my favorite like troll who was like probably the most talented troll, like the Liquid Chris one. Is that what it's called? That's very good.
We should just go in chronological order.
Yeah, we should.
I skipped everything.
I'm so
Well, because
lost
it's not
right
really
now.
that important to the story, but it also the Liquid Chris is probably my favorite part because it's probably the most tasteful of
Anyway,
all of
yes.
this.
I love as well how every time a point is brought up, you say the date like it's like a real historical event.
It's of course 1945 Germany.
December 2014 is
Yeah.
when it all happened.
I know how people feel when One Piece fans talk about their arcs now. It's like, oh yeah, the big mama.
So
the Phineas lobby.
I'd say the only like tasteful troll, in my opinion, was
You
the
could
Liquid
say,
Chris.
yeah.
Where someone did a spot on impression of Chris's speech
pattern. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And filmed videos as Chris and taunted Chris by like saying they were the real Chris. And it was very, very well done.
Right.
And the way that they would speak is like, it's very good.
Right.
It's And they challenged Chris to like a sing-off or something.
Yes. How this started was Liquid Chris,
Right.
as he became referred to, actually started posting videos on YouTube as Chris just for the entertainment of his friends.
Yeah.
And then after a while, trolls noticed this and wrote emails to Chris about it saying, oh, this guy's trying to steal your identity. You should probably address this. And this is how they became involved with each other. And to prove who was the real Chris, they would do several things. Like for example, the actual real Chris, or Solid Chris, as they were referred to at this time.
Solid Chris. It's like Solid Snake.
No, this
Right.
is literally the plot to Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking you.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, Solid Chris posted their like real address, their phone number, their driver's
Proving it
license.
was them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
Why?
because they were the real.
They were the real
They were
one.
the
Only
the
they would
solid
know.
Chris.
It's like that meme of like someone who, when it's like hacker who knows my address, me who knows it longer. It's literally that meme.
Yeah.
It's go.
So yeah, and then after that, Solid Chris, decided that the best way to go about proving this was to do a SingStar challenge where they would pick 3 songs for the other to sing, or it was like something like that. But anyway, the best singer would be voted the champion.
It's like fucking American Idol.
But it's bizarre how Chris chose this. That's
Yeah.
what's
And they amazing because Liquid Chris was actually a pretty good singer.
and very
Real
good
plot
at
twist.
and very good at playing guitar.
Playing
right?
guitar.
So like
Wow.
actually like just killed the songs, and Chris was terrible. That's what was so amazing about it, is that it was so funny.
My God.
Yeah. And then, and after the contest was over, according to a technicality, Liquid Chris won. And then they decided to call it quits and leave. And according to the Liquid Chris storyline on YouTube, he went off to get married with his girlfriend, and then go to Richmond and join Nintendo and make a Sonic 2 game, for example.
Right.
And then Chris was very angry with that.
Because they weren't the ones making the Sonic 2 game.
Right, yeah.
The fake Chris.
But it was very well done trolling,
Yeah.
actually. It was
Yeah.
like where you're like, okay, trolling isn't too bad sometimes. Very tasteful, very funny.
That
No
just
one gets
seems
hurt.
like the tasteful prank.
Yeah, basically.
Because
It's-
there's no...
Baki's first catch, right? He reeled in 2 little like super small fish. So they were like baby fish, right? They were like this big. You know, you can't really do anything with them. So it's like at this point you just catch and release it, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first like baby fish we caught on the day, and this was about 2 hours in, and so he caught them, and I was like, "Oh, look at the little baby fish! You know, we should probably release them." So he takes the hook out, and he puts them back in the ocean, and they start swimming off. And I swear to God, this thing is like a scene from The Simpsons, right? And you can see them swimming off. And Sydney in her little, you know when Sydney is just like talks about a dog or talks about any animal, she's like, "Go swim, little baby, swim." And then as soon as she finishes saying that, out of nowhere, a seagull appears and just dive bombs the fish out of the water and eats it. And the 4 of us are we're just standing there looking at this fucking atrocity in silence. And we were just like, well, fuck.
Oh, you helped the circle of life.
Yeah, it's the circle of life.
nature.
Seagull annihilates tiny fish.
Nature has been restored here today.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
we'll play Minecraft.
Yeah, I got to get myself situated first because I've recently just moved
Oh, yeah,
as
how's your
well.
new place?
It was my new place is good. It was an interesting moving experience, mostly because of all the shit that Sydney has built up over the years.
Oh, God.
And I remember. Okay, so we hired the same moving company, right? So there's this main guy, and he knows that we're YouTubers because he moved
all the trash day
stuff, right? I don't think he was prepared. Like, he knew that we were anime fans, right? But I don't think he was prepared for some of the stuff that Sydney had like just within her closet, right? And so I remember,
Poor man.
Yeah, before they do the move, they also have to like scout the place just to see what they have to move and how many trucks they have to rent out. And Sydney was just like, you know what? I know the stuff. I know my room's a bit of a nuclear like wasteland right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna clean it up a bit, right? So what she does is she takes off all like the lewd posters off a wall, right? She's like, I'm cleaning up my room. You know, he's not gonna notice.
Cleaning up
my room. So she takes off all the lewd posters, thinking she's got her job done. I've got nothing to worry about. What she forgets, right, is there's no posters on the wall, but there's just a massive pile of sex toys in the corner that she just somehow forgot about.
You really know how numb she is to that kind of shit now, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
It's the pussy of the round table.
It's the pussy of the round table.
Fine art right there.
And it's the 10-kilogram boobs that are just lying on the floor.
Nothing
so
wrong
she
with it.
forgets to hide that, but she takes off the slightly lewd posters off the wall. And so
This is distasteful, Garnt. No.
So the guy opens the door and is greeted by just the 10-kilogram boobs that is just sitting on her desk that she somehow just forgot about.
Absolute state. He probably wanted to like get out of there. Yeah.
And so after we get everything packed up, obviously they hired different people. So he's seen all this before, but obviously his employees haven't seen this, right?
Oh no.
And so they have to pack everything up, right? And so how it was, they packed everything up. There were about like 4 men just loading stuff into the 2 trucks that we had. Sydney stayed behind. To clean up the place after we were all driving to our new place to unpack everything. And I sat with them in one of the vans. And I sat with them, with 2 of them, and 2 of them weren't the main guys. So it was just one of their employees. It was just like, it was like a good 15-20 minutes of silence, right? And we were just driving along, and the guy next to me just goes, "So interesting stuff you got there, eh?" And I'm just like, oh my god, so it's like I'm starting to fucking explain this shit, right? So it's like, this is just, we're YouTubers, and the room, that room, that room, that's not my room.
How do you explain that shit though to someone? That's like trying to explain what B-board is on 4chan, right? It's like, so there's a lot of fucked up shit here, but don't worry about it. It's completely fine. Like,
yeah.
You get used to it.
I remember when I showed them all the fucking cosplays I had. They were like, "What the fuck? Why do you have so many costumes? Why is there so many dresses?" I'm like, I don't know.
That's my
It's
job.
a hobby of mine. What can I say? What can I say? I just like this
Well,
stuff.
what's worse to say? If it's your job or if it's your hobby?
I don't know.
What gets you judged more?
The guy walked in my room and was like, "So you're single, huh?" I was like, "What?"
I'm glad Sydney was there, because if it was just me sorting this out, I can't. How do I explain that? How the fuck do I explain that? So I live with a fiance, and she collects sex toys and reviews them on her YouTube channel, and they're just like, yeah, sure,
Reviews
sure,
them. It's like,
yeah,
sure,
bet.
And then it's not even the worst part, because after I have this like half an hour explanation, explaining to them what we did, and just explaining the situation so they understand. So we get to the house, and so they start unloading stuff. First goes the bed, and then all like the other boxes, and then the big stuff, and then I had scheduled the gas guy to come on the same day, because we've got to turn on the gas, maximize, min-maxing moving.
Yep.
So I get a phone call from the gas guy as everyone's coming in, packing, unloading all the stuff into the house. I'm like, I'm about to come over. Is that cool? And I'm like, great, perfect. I'm here right now. Just come right in. So he comes in, checks the gas thing, turns it on, does the check. Everything's perfect. And as he's about to walk down the stairs, guess what pops up? It's the 10-kilogram boobs right in front of him that the guy just like fucking presents to him on a silver platter. And the guy,
Wait, wasn't it inside?
Oh my god!
Wasn't it inside of like a box or anything like that?
Yeah, it was inside a box, the packaging, which is just an anime girl with her breasts out, right? Because this thing doesn't need to go in a box. It is its own box. It's just boobs. That is 10 kilograms. The box is big enough by itself. So he stops. They both stop. The gas guy looks at him, looks down at the box, looks at me, and he goes, "Oh, very important." I'm just like, "Oh,
Did he really?
yeah."
Oh my god.
So he's like, yes, it is. Thank you.
He's got a sense of humor. Man.
The guy said, what if the guy was like, oh, I got one of those.
Oh shit, you got the new model.
Oh shit, that's the new model right there, Pog.
So yeah,
Oh,
I just phoned Sydney up afterwards, and I'm just like, why did you give me this job? I should be the one cleaning up. You should be the one handling this shit.
With the tits gym, and I was like, I want to watch something, and then I saw the new season of Baki was out, and I was like, well, this is good gym material.
Of course.
And I watched it, and like, my god, if you haven't started watching Baki, like, you need to.
Okay, I haven't seen this new season yet. Is it like?
This is probably the greatest season of television I've ever seen in my life. This shit was so goddamn funny.
Yeah.
Because part 3 Baki, which is the new season, is my favorite Baki part in the manga.
Honestly, I was like trying to work out, but I just couldn't stop laughing. Like, just some of the plot points. It honestly puts JoJo to shame at times with how stupid this show gets.
Part 3 is when it really starts to get fucking
If you don't know
ridiculous.
what Baki is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just men with muscles fighting, and it's just so fucking
Basically,
stupid.
a kid who's like, I want to be the strongest creature on the planet. And then he does everything he can to be the strongest creature on the planet.
There's no way we can describe in words what Baki is kind of like. It's kind of like JoJo. You kind of just have to experience it.
The reason why I think it doesn't do as well as JoJo, I think it doesn't have like an aesthetic that is quite as appealing as JoJo. JoJo has so much style and stuff to go around with it.
Yeah.
But I think Baki is almost more fucking stupid.
Itagaki Keisuke is one of those like illustrators where I'm like, are you really good at drawing or are you really shit?
So
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
There are some scenes where I'm like, damn, that's an amazing shot. And then other scenes I'm like, I don't think this man has ever seen a human being in his life. Because that is not how anatomy works.
It's like you take a character and you're like, let's make this a muscly character. And you're like, what proportions do you think is reasonable for a muscly character? And then the author just went, all right, multiply that by 10, and then that's like the character designs.
Every single character, even the weak characters, are like built like brick shit houses.
Yeah.
Right? It's insane. And like, I could tell you some plot points, and I will, and it won't even spoil it for you because it won't make any fucking sense,
not.
right? So at one point during the show, the main protagonist, Baki, starts shadowboxing, right?
That's my favorite fucking scene.
So is it the mantis?
So yeah, that as well. But so it's like a 10-year-old kid, and he's like, look, I'm going to show you that I'm going to fight an opponent. And so he starts fighting the air. And then he starts fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
Just Mike Tyson appears out of thin air.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson isn't there, but Mike Tyson is landing blows
He
and he
beats the
physically
shit out of him.
he physically gets hurt. And then he's fighting him back, and then the kid can see the spirit of Mike Tyson. And then this just happens. And then he's like, and then the main character's like, oh yeah, Mike Tyson's weak. And then he just summons a praying mantis that beats the shit out of him. But then he starts fighting the praying mantis that's imaginary.
Yeah.
In a room, right?
And
Underneath.
then like some military guy's like, hey, come fight. And then he's like, no. And then he just kidnaps George Bush. And it's like, what's going on? What is going on? What is going on?
You're talking about Biscuit Oliver, right?
Yeah, then he kidnaps, in this plot, he kidnaps George Bush
Yeah.
so he can go to prison.
Yeah.
But like,
So then he can beat up all the prison
but
mates,
why
right?
would George Bush help you go to prison if you kidnap him? They would just, what? It doesn't make any sense.
I love how Baki just like is so with the times. Like, you know exactly when part 3 was
But
written.
also, it's
because of
like
that.
watching Baki, right? Is like if you only learned about America through Trash Taste.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's literally, this shit they say about it. There's this one fucking I had to pause it because I just fucking laughed my ass off. And there's this one point where this American prison guard is about to die. And the two Japanese guys, one of them the Japanese guy saves the American, and the other Japanese goes, why would you save an American? He's never going to care about you. He's American. And I just paused it, and it was like, what? What does that mean? What is that? What? Is this just like casual, like, what is this, Trash Taste podcast?
America's like, compassion? What is that?
what is that?
What
It
is
was
that?
just
Never
like-
heard of that in my life.
You're not
why
an
was-
American, get
Is
out.
that part of the Constitution? Compassion in my country?
like, why would you save an American? They wouldn't care about you.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's like, holy shit.
What?
my favorite Baki is in the, I'll never fucking forget, and I can't wait for them to adapt this. I think it's part 4. And it's when Barack Obama comes out.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Because he gets, so in the manga, he's like newly elected, right?
Oh,
so it's like, you know, the era of when this was written. And like Hama Yujiro, like the main, like the dad guy, who's like the most powerful guy, he's like, he goes to talk to Obama because of course he can.
He can just sit down with any president he wants.
But-
Like the main antagonist could just sit down with anyone.
Yeah.
Just because he's so built
Because he's
different.
so built.
It's just like insane.
But like Obama at first is like, I've heard of that man. I don't trust him. I don't trust him at all. But like, I need to see, is he the real deal? I need to see if he's the real deal. So then he comes into the room and he's like, show me you're the real deal. And and Yujiro goes, all right, bet. And he grabs like a handful of sand and he crushes it in his hand and turns it into a diamond.
I didn't even know what he's gonna do to know.
And then Obama's like, you are the real one. Shakes hands.
So there's like this show
Big
is,
muscle.
If you haven't watched Baki, you are honestly doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
It is so fun.
I'm just like, 'cause,
just
like-
get past the start. It can be
Yeah.
a little jank, but like the anime is really good.
It's really good.
funny.
Because like I'm surprised that meme culture just hasn't picked up on Baki memes, right? Because so
Yeah.
much of this is fucking memeable. I know, right? Like,
There's one other thing as well that is so fucking funny. So apparently, right, because there's these 3 characters, Baki, Yujiro Hanma, and Oliver Biscuit, the other guy.
Yeah.
There's just 3 guys that are so dangerous and so powerful because they're muscles, right?
Yeah.
That half of the GPS in the world is in the air solely to track them. Solely to track them in this world, right? And so whenever they run above 2 kilometers an hour, the GPS in the world has to stop working just to track these 3
them,
men. So there's a whole section where they explain that when people are driving or using their phone, the GPS just doesn't work correctly because some of these characters decided to go for a light jog. You can't make this shit up.
amazing.
Who thought of this shit?
I'm telling you, man. Like that's the thing. If you thought JoJo was ridiculous, JoJo's witches, it could be as ridiculous as Baki at times.
And you combine that with then also another part in another season where Yujiro Hanma, again the main antagonist, meets Muhammad Ali. And he's like, you can't beat me because you took off to do important human rights things. But I respect you because you did that. And it's like, what is going on?
isn't one of the antagonists like Muhammad Ali's son?
Muhammad Ali's son, But like he respects Muhammad Ali. But even though he's weaker than him, because he took time out of his career to argue for civil rights. Great, we love that.
good on him.
But then Muhammad Ali Jr. is just like cocky. And then he gets like
But then he kidnaps like the main like love interest of Baki and then gets beaten up by like 5 dudes for 5 days straight, just like over and over and over. There was also another scene I love where it's like Hanaya Makoto, who's like my favorite fucking character. He's like he's like bored, so he's just like, oh man, everyone's weak, everyone's fucking weak. No one can stand up to me except one man, Hama Yujiro. You know what? I'm gonna go pay him a visit. So he goes and pays him a visit. He's just like walking down the street and he's like, so we're gonna start fighting? And he's like, right here? I'm like, yeah. Just in the middle of a crowd. But then a kid comes up and is like, oh my god, Yujiro, I'm a massive fan of you, and like hands him like a shikishi, right? It's like, can you sign this shikishi? And you know, normally you'd think he pulls out a pen, does the sign. No, this is Hama Yujiro. He's built different. What he does is he gets his finger, he stabs the shikishi and then slices it into 4 quarters with his finger until it's like all broken apart. And the kid's like, oh my god, thank you so much. And then Hanaya Makoto's like, man, I'd be happier with that than a signature if I were you. And I was like, what is this thing? And then they start beating the shit out of each other.
It's just like, it is insane. Like I'm sure if you don't know anything about Baki, that probably made no sense, and it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Don't
Even in context, it doesn't make sense.
I still don't quite understand what the story is, and I've watched 3 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't get the point.
I've caught up to them.
You watched the Netflix seasons, right? And the
and
Netflix seasons aren't even the beginning of the story, because the Netflix seasons are like
starts at season 2.
Yeah, it's like a sequel to an anime or like the manga that came out like decades ago, and then
it's been going longer than JoJo.
The CGI has gotten a lot better as well in this season.
That's
the
good.
CGI is kind of jank in the first season,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But still watch it. It is really
I
funny.
mean, I would say like the animation, especially compared to JoJo, isn't as good. But
God,
like you don't watch it for the animation. You watch it for
no.
like the batshit crazy scenes.
It's just like, it's just insane how they decide fights. And it is like, imagine if a world was decided purely by muscle. Like, the whole...
It's like muscles can solve every world issue in the
But,
world,
like,
right?
Guns in this world are meaningless compared to muscles. Like, guns don't do anything.
Yeah.
Guns are a suggestion. Guns are for normal human beings, and they don't operate in the same world that the characters do. Like, it's insane.
It's like every single character is an Avengers level threat. That's just what it is, right? And it's
At every single time you think you've met the strongest character, they introduce some new character that is even stronger.
Who's the main one in the part 3 again? Is it the prehistoric guy?
Is it the first human?
No. So I believe they've done what they did with the first season. Well, it's technically one season split into 2.
Oh,
I
okay,
think that's what
okay.
they've done here. So the first arc is just through the prison.
Yeah.
And then the next arc is the prehistoric
Yeah,
one.
the pickle, right?
But
isn't it?
this arc opens up with a press conference from like a safari where like all these people died to this giant mammoth elephant, which killed hundreds of people and animals.
Yeah.
And in this press conference, he's like, one man killed this 500 meter tall mammoth.
That's what I.
And then the press conference is like, no, it didn't. And then it's like, what is this? What is this? What? It's so dumb.
That's what I love about Baki is that every character has such this batshit crazy backstory.
Yeah.
That the way they get introduced with this like fucking crazy backstory, and you have like Speedwagon, like basically a narrator just going over their entire backstory, doing all these like batshit crazy things, and you think it can't get crazier until it fucking does every time.
I've like almost caught up to the manga, and I'm like, how did they top the first human who ever lived, who beat a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex with his bare hands?
So I even though I know sort of what the next arcs are about, like, there's an arc about them fighting prehistoric creatures, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
They just bring him back to life, and they're like, let's see if they stand up to the humans of today.
Right? like Jurassic Park, instead if they turned it into Test the Humans, instead of like seeing what the dinosaurs could do. It's like, let's see what the humans can do against the dinosaurs, because humans are too boring in this world.
Yeah, apparently.
Because it's just like no normal martial arts master is good enough anymore now.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny because like the main protagonist, which is the main character's dad, is just like batshit insane and also just hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just he's so insane.
Some of the shit he
It's
says
amazing.
is actually insane.
And there's just the fact there's a whole scene dedicated to him watching his son having sex. And
that was what sold me on the first
honestly,
season.
if I can't sell you on Baki, it's that there is a scene where he is about to lose his virginity and his dad comes in giving him advice.
Yeah.
In like the creepiest way on earth and the most like manly way.
Yeah,
please watch this show. It is insane. The fact that people haven't watched this is just mind blowing.
He literally squats down next to the bed and says, eat her.
Yeah. He's like, fuck every day.
Fuck every day.
Answer your instincts. Let your instincts take over. Become an animal. Fuck when you want.
And then to top it off, Baki turns fucking Super Saiyan levels of like powerful after he loses his virginity.
No. They have like a fucking, because like they actually have sex in this anime, and they turn the sex
show it.
scene into a JoJo fight. I swear to God.
Yeah,
He's just like, oh, sex is like a battle.
I'm gonna be honest though, it is in real life. You're like trying to think of like 10 things at once. Make sure you do it right. It's the most accurate sex scene in anime. Changed my mind. No, on top of that, right? Not only is this the hypest sex scene in anime, immediately after that, you don't need this no bullshit Goku Super Saiyan. I'm gonna save the world. This man powered up more than Goku ever wishes he could by losing his virginity. These people can sense that this man lost his virginity. He was fighting.
Oh yeah, that's right, because one of the prison guys like tries to come up to him, right?
Not one, two. Yeah. Before this, our main character was so weak that he couldn't face one of these dudes one-on-one.
Yeah.
After sex, 2 of them come in and they cannot face him. Like this man's aura, this man's nen has increased so much from busting a nut that like they can't even think of facing him.
He somehow developed like hockey power. After
It's like Gon pre-Nen versus post-Nen.
It's like if Gon turned into his dad after nutting. It's insane. Like this whole episode was like you had to pause it and just be like, "What the fuck is going
So
on?"
funny.
It's please watch Baki. It is insane.
It's amazing.
I cannot. And this new season was so goddamn fun. I was gonna only watch like 2 episodes. I binged it all in one day. It was so fun. It's insane. Like
I
if
have
you
to watch it.
if you go into it with the mindset of this is gonna be a kind of